Thank you very much, Dr. Armando and Patricia. Look, not only have we been friends for about, going on 3 decades, I not only like you, but I love you. We've had a lot of wonderful times together. And gosh, Armando's been my my doctor through the internet all these years, he's a guy when I got some challenges, I can call him up and don't don't be embarrassed because of being low tech, Dr. Armando. Most of us probably wouldn't be very good surgeons either. We folks, let me tell you personally for me, many of you I may know and some of you I don't know. We all I'm assuming a big part of you were with us in the Zango Corporation. We had a ride of our life. Certainly for me, it was 15. I had 32 very successful years, although I've been in the industry for 40 years. I've had moderate success since Zango sold the company. I guess the year was 2017, thereabouts, and had moderate success, but I didn't find anything in the industry. There's some good companies out there, but I think personally, for me, that timing is so important. And those companies were mature companies. They've been around a long time and people have heard their name. It's always easier, much easier to build something right from the start. Our timing is so important. So I had come to the conclusion, if you were on the company call last night, you'll probably hear this again. I had come to the conclusion, and Armando, you're right. I mean, I did. I felt like Moses wandering in the desert for the last 8 years looking for a home. And I determined that my career in this industry was probably over. I wasn't going to find anything that really resonated with me and that I resonated with them, and decided that I was just going to, I was going to downsize my life a bit because of my good fortune in this industry. I live in 4 different places in the world, and I was going to, sell some of my properties and just probably retire in Oklahoma on a golf course where I have a place and work on my golf game. And my golf game needs a lot of help. I don't have enough time left in life probably to help that. But what I was going to do with the rest of my life really wasn't fulfilling for me. I love this industry. I love working with people. I love to see them succeed. And so, for me, there was a bit of sadness there. In fact, a lot of sadness. But I'd resigned myself that there just wasn't anything worth looking at. I get a call many months ago, long before now, from Gordon, telling me what his plans were with this new company called Oliabo and the products. And the more I looked at what he had to offer, and of course, Gordon had me at hello. I love the guy. I mean, completely. He's been my friend, and actually, we've been in business together long before Zango. I know his entire family, knew his mom, his dad, his brothers, his sister. So it's important to me that I can get in business with people that I totally trust. And I trust him completely. So he really did have me at hello because I could feel just on from the inside, things were beginning to change for me. Isn't it funny sometimes in life? Life is full of irony. You've made all these great decisions and God has another plan. Friend of mine often says, was it odd or was it God? In my particular case, I believe it was God. God knows what fulfills my heart, at least while on this earth, and it's working with people, working with good companies like this one. So immediately I had a spring in my step, and I was way more than interested because I knew that he had some very unique products. I knew that he realized what we all know, that this industry is not what it used to be. I mean, for 32 of the 40 years I've been in here in this industry, I've made more money than I could have ever dreamed about. If you know anything about my background, I was born in a house with a dirt floor in a little dusty town in southwest Oklahoma. Grew up extremely poor. There were six of us children. My mom and dad were always struggling, and I left home and school in the 10th grade because of all of the embarrassing moments because of the lack of money. And just kind of fumbled my way through life, almost half of my life before I found this industry or it found me. I think it was a God thing way back in those days. 40 years ago, I joined a company, never having been involved in network marketing, but I met people. If I could see all of your face, and I can see some of you on the camera here, I met people that were fun to be around, people that were making money and they enjoyed life and they just had good, positive mental attitude about things. They were different than the people that I knew. So I decided I would give network marketing a try, not knowing anything about the industry. But I had the good fortune, another God thing. I met Jim Rohn personally. He became my personal mentor. He taught me things that nobody had ever taught me before. I didn't blame my mom and dad or anybody. People can't teach you things that they don't know. And so Jim Rohn told me way back 40 years ago, he said, Ray, if you find the right opportunity in network marketing at the right time, and you build your business as if your life was hanging in the balance for 90 days, it could set you up financially for the rest of your life. Well, what was my life like in 40 years ago? My wife and I, we've been married 43 years. We, just because you're broke don't mean you can't fall in love and have babies. Well, I fell in love and we had babies. We had three small children and our daughter was on the way and I was dead broke. I was struggling from week to week, from day to day, paying my bills. The house payments were always late. The car payments were late. Utilities, sometimes I couldn't even pay them on time. They'd cut them off and I'd have to go and pay an additional deposit to get them turned back on. That's what my life was like 40 years ago when I found the industry, or it found me, and I found Mr. Jim Rohn. I had nothing to lose and I had everything in the world to gain. So I took his advice and I worked as hard as I could for the first 90 days of a company. It really wasn't a new company at the time. It was probably a few years old, a Canadian company. I went to work with them and worked as hard as I could for 90 days. I also met Bob Proctor back in those days, and Bob Proctor taught me to write on a small card what you want in life and read it every day. So while I'm using Jim Rohn's formula, working as hard as I can, probably making all the mistakes you could make as a human being for 90 days, but I read my card every day, and I'd written on that card that I'd be making $5,000 a month in my third month in this industry. Now, if you don't have any experience and you're green like I was, you're poor, you got a bad self-image problem, that's a pretty wild goal. But I got to tell you, I mean to tell you, it proved to me that these two gentlemen knew exactly what they were talking about. I'll never forget my third month royalty check in that company. Third month, my first 90 days in the industry was $5,310 and some change. Now, I wasn't rich, but I felt like I was rich. $5,300 40 years ago was really quite a lot of money. So in my mind, back in those days, in 90 days' time, listening to a couple of giants putting into practice what they said, timing was good for me because I'd never knew this before. I was making more money in 90 days than all of my friends that I knew that had high paying jobs. So I never ever looked back, and for all the 3 decades after that, life was just grand. This poor boy from Oklahoma, this industry delivered my dreams to me. My whole goal starting out really was I just love my family dearly. I didn't want them to repeat what I did growing up, and that's what was happening. They were so small they didn't know how poor we were, and I was desperately looking for something to change their future, and this industry delivered it for me. So I've been a fan of the network marketing industry, a big fan, for 40 years for good reason. But looking back in my career, like I said, 32 years, hitting the long ball, doing fantastic. And the last 8 to 10 years, there's my Moses story. I'm just wandering in the desert, ready to retire. Decided that's exactly what I was going to do, and I it wasn't the exit I was looking for, but that's what I had decided, that nothing was going to come along to capture my attention. Get the call from Gordon. Love the guy, trust the guy. He's a brilliant marketer, probably has the brightest marketing mind of anybody that I personally have ever known. He is a branding expert. We all know that if we were involved in Zango. Heck, I'll just, little unique things. You probably can't see this. I'm going to hold up a little pin. Some of you will recognize that. It's one of the Zango pins. Here's another one. You can see the actual clip that you put in your pocket is actually a Zango bottle, if you can see that. I mean, little details that nobody thinks of. Gordon Morton thinks of those things. Folks, I want to tell you something. You can write it down and say that you heard it here. This one is going to be a giant all over the world. There is no doubt in my mind. And if you think about what Jim Rohn taught me, find the right opportunity at the right time, build it 90 days as if your life was hanging in the balance. It could set you up financially for the rest of your life. I don't promise anything to anybody. We don't make guarantees of any kind, but I've lived this. My 40-year career, I've done this every opportunity that I built. I applied that same formula. But let me tell you what I can't escape this. I've developed a few skills along the way. There's a lot of people more skillful than I am. I get that. I mean, and I'm very comfortable with that. I know this about people though. They only buy your genuineness. So what you hear from me is what I genuinely believe. And I can tell you, we're on to something here, big time. Gordon knows this industry needs to be changed. He knows that distributors aren't properly respected. They're not properly rewarded for the work that they do. And these companies, not all of them, but a big percentage of them, it's just it's just money to them. You and I are just dollar signs. And any way they can change our comp plan to put more money back in their pocket, they will. I watched them do that to my friends for all my entire career here in network marketing. Those things won't happen to us at Oliabo. We're definitely in the right place at the right time. And it's the time to give it your 90-day all out effort. These products, they're going to be amazing. When you look at the research and the science, and most of you have, I know you have, it's very impressive. I don't make any product claims. Of course, we're not allowed to do that. But if you look at the science, you realize that there's the three major things that these products can help everybody with is the fact that it helps your entire cardiovascular system, your GI system, and your brain. My brain needs a little work. I'm looking forward to getting these products for sure. And they're coming soon. I, I'm going to tell you what I believe. I've had a few uh, conversations with Gordon. We talk most every day, late at night, usually. We're both pretty busy. But I believe 11/11 is the magical date. I believe that's not coming from the company, that's coming from Ray Herron. I believe we'll be able to place our orders 11/11 and have our products shortly after that. But I'm also reminded, I want you all, if any of you knew my friend, all of our friend, Mr. Bob Schmidt, Bob was a tough character, probably one of the best network marketers in the world. And Bob told me one time, he goes, Ray, what do you think the number one product in the world is? And I honestly couldn't tell him. And he said, it's convenience. That's what it is. Convenience is the number one product in the world. And when I look at the Prima in this beautiful little tin can with 30 individually packed daily nutritional items, that's the most convenient thing I've ever seen. You know what I'm going to do? I bet most of you can identify with me. If we've been in this industry a long time, like I have, after a while, your supplement pile, it grows every day, every day, every day. And in the morning at breakfast, I've got this big pile of supplements there that I've added to over my career. And I often wonder, do I really need all of those? But I'm kind of afraid not to take all of those. Here's my challenge to the Prima product. And I don't think I'm going to be disappointed at all. I'm going to push all of those aside, other than probably maybe some zinc and vitamin C. I'm going to push all the rest of them aside. I'm going to open my beautiful little tin can with the beautiful graphics. It says Prima on it. And I'm going to take one of those individually pillow packs out of there. I'm going to tear it open and I'm going to take that product for a minimum of a month. And I'm going to bet personally We're going to see. I'm going to bet that I'm going to feel better than I've felt in a long, long time. This product's everything's kind of based, on the blue zones. You know about the blue zones, most of you. People live an average of 9 to 10% longer than they do in the rest of the world. And there's some common things that people have observed, people in that part of the world. And I think in Europe, you probably have a pretty good steady diet of olive oil. But I've learned talking to Gordon, most of the olive oil is not near as good as we think it is. And so my strong belief, I'm not guaranteeing any of us going to live 10% longer than the rest of the world, but that's what the statistics say in the blue zone. And we're going to give people the equivalent of what they consume in that part of the world. They consume on average 14 liters of very good extra virgin olive oil. 14 liters, that's a lot. In North America, we consume less than 1 liter of very, engineered, probably pretty crappy olive oil. So we're going to take the equivalent of what they're getting in the blue zones, put it in a beautiful little convenient package that we can take on a daily basis. And my own personal belief is people's results are going to be so wonderful that they can't wait to tell their neighbors, their friends, the people they love and care about. Oliabo is going to grow at warp speed. No matter what Ray Herron does, no matter what you do, I promise you, this is the one you've been looking for your whole life. And a good friend of mine often says, have you ever given anything in your life 100%? When I first heard that, boy, it caused me to really think. There's a few things, very few things that I've ever done 100%. So my challenge to myself and to all of you, let's give it 100%. I mean, we could stand on our head for 90 days if it meant financial independence. We could. We don't have to. All we have to do is everybody gather a bare minimum of 3 people that you like and that like you. 3 people. I'm going to say shame on any of us if we haven't personally enrolled at least 3 people by 11/11 that can order this product and start building their business. We got great coaches here, like the lady introducing this today. I mean, gosh, got as much experience as I have, maybe more in this industry. There's a lot of us. We love the space. We love the arena of network marketing. My challenge to you is reach out. I call it the BLT theory. Call the people that believe in you, the people that like you, and the people that trust you. We all have, some have more than others, but I'm going to say we all have a minimum of 25 to 50 people that believe us, they like us, and they trust us. Get the information to them. Let's get as many of those enrolled as we possibly can, and we'll just duplicate what we did in Zango. We'll get everybody on a subscription of 2 Primas per month. Rather than 2 cases of Zango, 2 Primas. That's just what we did back in the day. And we duplicated that. Everybody got 3. Who got their 3? That's 3, 9, 27, 81, 243. That's exactly how you build these things, is that we just become a well-oiled machine where we have a duplication process. Bob Schmidt taught me this. He says, if you got the recipe for a dozen cookies, you got the recipe for 1,000 dozen cookies. We do have the recipe for success. Many of the people I'm looking at are multi-million-dollar earners, including myself, with the Zango opportunity. I know it sounds crazy, but I made more money than I could have ever dreamed of at the Zango Corporation. But I think it will be dwarfed by what this opportunity is for all of us. I could go on forever. I'm from Oklahoma. I talk slow and probably talk too much, but I just want you all to know, look, I'm your number one cheerleader, and I'm really blessed to be the master distributor here. Gordon could have probably made a better choice, probably. Certainly could have picked somebody younger than me, somebody with a lot more technical skills, but he knows my heart. He knows that I care about people being successful. And he knows that these young whippersnappers probably couldn't outwork me. I've still got a lot of fire for an old guy, and I'm willing to, whatever time I got left, to give it everything I have here at Oliabo. And I hope to see all of you in our upcoming trip in Italy in the fall of next year. It'll be a fabulous time. I can't wait to meet you all personally. And it's a good thing to mention, those that do order, all of you that are on this Zoom here today, I think you have an excellent chance of being a member of Club Grand. Club Grand is the first 1,000 people that have enrolled in the company that place an order. That's going to become very meaningful in the future of Zango. So be among the first once you get the word to place an order with the company. There's a good chance that you will be uh, fall in the number of the first 1,000 people in the company, Club Grand. Probably get a nice little pin. There'll be some perks in the future, maybe preferential seating, maybe a nice backpack, maybe a nice pin, lots of stuff. Club Grand will always be very special to Gordon Morton and Joe and the rest of the executive team. So there'll be a lot of perks. So by all means, do these things. Go get a minimum of 3 if you hadn't already, and get everybody enrolled and ready. When they turn the switch on, we're off and running.